Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Digitalk Architects. Today, we have Blaise Abel from Lendingy with us. Blaise, welcome to the show. Please go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Thanks for having me. So I spent over 20 years in a Martech space, starting with the interactive agency, then build a product. I'm engineer by my education, but most time I spend on working with clients, and I'm also responsible for the marketing currently in my company. So I think that's a good background to your podcast.
Yes. All right. So, interestingly enough, today we have two markers. So this should go really well. So you spent about 15 years in Martech, right?
Correct.
First, you run as an agency, and then you build Lending. Looking back, what lessons from the agency would help you build a successful SaaS company?
Okay, so I think that the most important thing was that I was very close to the customers. So if you have the agency, you need to understand your clients. You need to understand clients of your clients. So overall, you spend a lot of time with different businesses, with different people, and this helped me to understand what kind of problems entrepreneurs faced building their marketing, trying to attract new potential customers or grow the company. And this learning helped me to find a problem where my engineer heart converts to the product. So that was the path behind me.
Very good. So today, as we sit here, we hear a lot of people saying that AI is changing marketing. You and I both know that is true, and it's happening fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's happening faster than in previous years where technology was always changing, but it was small, gradual changes. Now it's like we have this whole new thing that's changing, like every day there's something new that is, and it's impacting the market, right? From
Mm-hmm.
your perspective, what changes are real and what do you think is just being overhyped or or like not as big as people make it out to be?
So I think that all changes are real. That's what we are saying. So they are changes. We maybe don't know overall impact of those changes. But the thing that is maybe overhyped or we just don't know how this is going to end, from my perspective, is overall the cost of what we currently can do with AI and what we will able to do with AI in reasonable cost in the future. So I think that still we are on a very early days with the companies that are behind all the revolution we are seeing are still trying to find a way how to monetize LLMs, tokens, and everything. I think probably we still don't know the real value of token. So I think that what is overhyped now is that we easily currently implement some kind of AI workflows that can be switched between what people is doing now, and we can just build the AI workflow to just switch to this new way. But in the long term, maybe we just don't know that, but this probably can happen, that we will have situation that the cost of AI will be so high that we will still come back to people, to agencies to work with us on our problems, on our challenges that we have to solve them, because solving them with AI will be just too expensive. It will be possible, but it will be too expensive, or we'll just need too much work to do, and it won't be reasonable to use AI to do this.
That's interesting because up until now the whole hype has been about doing it with AI is lowering cost. And to that point, I've heard a lot about this recently, where you hear the bigger companies are spending so much budget in AI that there's this one case, I won't name the company, but it just made the news recently. The company told the employees to stop using AI, and this was for software development actually, because
Right.
the cost of software development with AI was astronomical. So they actually went completely the opposite. stop, right? They're going to do like reevaluate how they're doing their development because it was getting out of hand. And it was actually now more expensive than just hiring the developers to do the job,
So it's already
right?
happening.
It's already happening. Yeah, it was big news. It's some of the big companies that in technology. It's happening. It's happening now. So it's an interesting problem because it kind of kind of makes you reevaluate that concept and perception that if you do it with AI, it's cheaper than if you do it with people, right?
And I think especially software development is tricky because maybe it's easy to build something, but to maintain this or to make the trust what's built,
Mm-hmm.
that's tricky part.
It is. So you mentioned that Lendingy is evolving from just being a landing page builder into more of a marketing infrastructure. That's your product. It's
Yes.
it's built for marketing for marketers. What drove that strategic shift, and what does it tell us about where marketing technology is heading?
Okay. So we understood that the way how you build landing pages just has changed. And mostly the change what we are seeing is happening on the interface, on the way how you create this landing page. So from our perspective, even if for over 15 years we were just developing the builder, we know that this builder just will gonna work only for the part of the customers, but most of them will switch to the agentic approach on how they create the landing pages. And it will be probably the same as you have with the email. Some of the people using Microsoft, other using Google Workspace, and the same will be with the AI. Someone will use ChatGPT, and other will be use the Cloud. So you should have a freedom of the way how you would like to create a landing page. You should do this in your favorite tool and probably with the favorite model or the favorite interface of your prefer. But then you build something and you need to figure out what to do next. So you just have a piece of code. Then you need to host it somewhere, collecting the data, understanding what's going on this landing page, trying to improve the conversion rates on this landing page, personalize this landing page, and of course everything you can do once you build a one landing page with Claude or ChatGPT. But if you have many of them, then you also have a lot of issues of how to manage them, how to quickly understand what's working, what's not. And in this case, we feel that Lendingy is a great fit for those entrepreneurs and marketers that are thinking more broad about landing pages, not just to build one landing page that could fits everyone needs, but for those who are looking for personalization and other aspects of effective landing pages. And that's why we start thinking about us. And being honest, we are on a very early stage of the thinking, but the future is in the agentic approach and in the way that you still sit in the interface you like, but you need to have a trusted partner where you can host what you've built and you can understand easily without installing many apps behind what's going on your landing pages. That's we are thinking more about us as an infrastructure in the future. Of course the builder will be possible. Of course we have our lunar agent where you can build landing page and it's super tuned for landing pages, but overall long term I think we will seeing that customers will have completely different path of how they create the landing pages.
Okay, so on that note, we know that businesses are experimenting with different tools. You mentioned them, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. Where do you think specialized platforms like yours still provide significantly value over those? Like, where do you see AI replacing traditional tools, and where do you think that something like Lendingy it's going to still provide extra value?
Okay, so I think we have three aspects here. So first is the way how so the tool you are choosing to build a landing page. So for example, our agent is using 5 models in the same time, choosing the right model for the right actions that will need to happen to create an effective landing page. So there is a part of code that is responsible for research, for content, for graphics, for code. And overall, in our solution, at the moment, we are using 5 different models in the same time. Part is from Anthropic, part is from OpenAI. So you never use 5 models in the same time to create a one landing page. You are sitting in one model, or you need to switch between models and put a lot more effort to build the same thing in the same time that you can build is in Lendingy. The second thing is, I think many of us will stay in the interface of our favorite agent. So probably even you will be a customer of Lendingy, you will still sit in your cloud, but you will connect your MCP server, our MCP server, to your cloud. So once you create this landing page with Claude or ChatGPT, you will just ask your agent to send it to Lendingy or host it to Lendingy, and in the same way, you will just ask the questions, which landing page performs the best this week, and you will get the answer. It's still sitting in your agent. And the last part is the prompt. I would say prompt engineering, or the way how people currently prompting. So we are seeing a huge work we need to do with the education. So still there's a lot of people that have a problem to write a good prompt. So with the dedicated solutions like Lendingy, we are prepared for those customers, and we are trying to navigate them step by step, asking them questions that they forgot to provide in the prompt. So many customers just starting with this. We are currently seeing 2 different type of customers. The first one that is just prepare a landing page for my e-commerce shop or promotion or pre-order or something like that. Very basic, no more context. And the others are pasting, the thousands of lines
Correct.
that is probably generated already with Claude or something else. It looks like they are super experienced. So we have 2 type of customers. There's not too much in the middle. I think we need to move entrepreneurs and small agencies and those who are starting in some kind of prompt engineering. So we are seeing Lending also is a good tool that will navigate you even if you are not a prompt engineer. So that's my 3 perspectives on where we are seeing we can deliver the value as a company, even if you can create those things in other agents.
In your business with Lendingy, you often talk about creating landing pages for different audiences, locations, and customer profiles, right? Can you walk us through how a business should think about segmentation if they want to improve conversions?
Sure. So many times I'm getting the question from customers how to build the best landing page, or should have the best landing page to convert the most. So I think it's some kind of holy grail of creating landing pages, and many of marketers trying to build one landing page that will fit all needs of all customers. And being honest, for many years there was this kind of tactic. There was a lot of talks about A/B testing, that
Mhm.
you can change the images, change call to action, or color on the button, or different things. But overall, over time, and with more and more surveys about this, we know that personalization is something that works better. So we're trying to educate customers that they should start thinking more broad about the landing page, that this is not just one creation for a specific product. You need to think first of where your customers are and who are your customers and what are their needs. So you can present your offer or your product in different contexts of your potential customers. So I would say we should start be more customer centric, just understand where those customers are located, what are their problems, what are their budget, who they are, and how necessary is the problem. And once we understand this, we can build a series of landing pages that can address or present the same product, but all addressing all these contexts that I mentioned. So you can build, you have a service, but maybe you can build a landing page for every town or city around you, where someone that visiting those landing pages can feel that, oh, this landing page is, is more looking more local, because it's, there's a, maybe, I don't know, town hall or some famous picture from this city, and I
Yeah.
feel like this companies from this city, they are near to me, even if they are not, the same question is, if you're targeting the service, and for example, as an agency, if you're targeting bigger customers, you can have, someone else is working with the problem with the customer, and trying to build something, and probably someone else is taking a decision about buying a new solution or the service. So should be a little bit different communication to the person who is a decision maker, and a little bit different is dedicated to those who are want to use your service or your product, because the motivations are different. And of course, you need to start first with to find those who want to implement your or buy your product, but also provide a communication to those who are deciding about the purchase of this. So different personas, and of course you can also divide it to the different channels, or you can also personalize it to the time. So it could be the time of it's a summer season, it's a winter season. You can just personalize landing pages on what's going on. Or we have customers that are using real-time marketing, so that they are trying to understand what's going on in overall public space, and use different events that are happening to build a landing page in the context of what's going on. And it's also something, of course, is maybe not a tactic that will stay along with you, but sometimes you could build a short hype using some kind of maybe local event or something like that, and you build a landing page that is dedicated for this. So you just need to start thinking more broad, and you also need to understand that the landing page is something additional to your website, because the website is mostly for the content, SEO, to provide all necessary informations, many links, maybe some kind of support, and additional information. The landing pages should treat only about the one thing. So that's a totally different way in a structure. You build this kind of pages. So I would not recommend to try to solve this building using, I don't know, WordPress or other platform that you're using for your, I would say, maybe CMS to manage your content. But a landing page is something you can build very quickly, that could be completely different design than your website, and that you don't have any boundaries that are coming from your CMS. So that's the way how we should think about the personalization.
So for a small business, right, that currently has one website, let's say one generic landing page, what are the first practical steps they can take to build a more personalized customer journey?
So I I think that on a very early stage, we should understand the channels we are using to address, because overall the landing page is something additional to our website. So we need to be able to direct the traffic to this landing page. We need to just prepare the communication that we have this kind of landing page. So we should think about our maybe email database. Maybe we can put the banner on our website. Maybe we can build small PPC campaign in Google Ads or Meta Ads. Whatever we need to start to think about the channels we are using, and prepare the landing pages to those channels and personas that are, because probably there are different type of people in different channels. And once we can tailor the communication to the channels, then we can expect a higher conversion rate than, for example, driving this traffic to our main website. So channels first, and customer centric. Just try to think the way your customers are thinking, and what they looking for. Try to work with the keyword planner to see what kind of queries people are typing, to understand what could be the main communication on the landing page, and that will be, I think, the starting point.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, so your platform supports right now companies. You and I talked about this. Supports companies that are managing hundreds of landing pages. So we're talking more like, you know, bigger enterprise level, and they're managing hundreds of landing pages every week, right? And they're changing whatever. What can small businesses learn from the enterprise marketing teams without the need for enterprise size budgets? You know, you have the experience, you've dealt with both of them.
Correct. So, what the main difference I'm seeing between small businesses and the enterprise class customers is the time they spend in data and analyzing what's going on those landing pages. So, what small business can learn from the bigger guys is that you should make more research at the beginning. So what truly you need to build, what's your competitors are doing, what will be the goals, how we will measure the results, how will we measure the conversions, what will be the conversions. Um, so some homework before we'll start building the landing page. And once we create the landing page, because overall the creation process is exactly the same for big company and small company. You just need to you need to use tools to just build a landing page. But then they spend a lot of time to analyze what is working, what's not, and testing a lot of different channels, personalization, and so. But of course, the difference is that in many cases in a small business there is a business owner that need to wear many hats, and it's complicated for him to to find a time for creating, analyzing, doing, the research and so on. The enterprise team has dedicated people doing this, but more and more building AI workflows behind this to understand. And also that's why we understand this problem, and we also create the agent that is analyzing your landing pages all the time in the background, so give you the hints what to do better with the landing page. Because we are seeing this clearly that people, even they have time, they also need to figure out how to analyze properly the data. And it's not easy. We all know how the GA4 interface looks like, and no one like it. So that's something that we need to spend some time. But once we define goals properly, it's easier to measure and understand what's going on. And from this perspective, I would say that's the one that's the one thing we need to focus. And the second is all about the workflows. So big companies are not building landing pages just for one time purpose. It's always a part of some bigger campaign or workflow they are maintaining all the time. And in thinking that landing page is a part of your workflow and you are working for a long time to improve the whole workflow from top of the funnel to final sale, then you also can use landing pages more strategically instead of building one time Black Friday offer. So basically, working on data and building the workflows are my two answers for your question.
Very good. All right. So, I agree. Analytics and managing the data that's behind the landing pages, it's a big deal. It's
Yes.
a big deal for small businesses, a big deal for any business, and definitely as marketing agencies is a huge deal, right? The numbers tell the story, right? But on that note, AI is making content creation faster and easier than ever. Do you think the future competitive advantage will be the content itself, or will it be the strategy behind how business deploy and personalize that content, whether AI or not?
So I would answer that the main or the key point in the future of content is overall authority. Is no matter overall maybe how well it's personalized or the way how you create or make the research, but overall what I'm saying long term, the authority will be super important. And from our experiences, for example, in our own blog, we are seeing that well known authors of blog posts always rank higher than even me writing on my blog. So because Google and others know this person, that is the authority behind this person. So I think that I would be not so focused on the way or the type of the content you are creating, but more to build your own authority as an author of those piece of content. So that will be super important. That probably AI also will understand, the way how we are writing or how we are, expressing ourselves. And in the future can be easily understand is something that is truly written by this person or is just generated and is not well connected to the style of this person. So overall, I would say authority will be something very important and the overall the content will be on a second level. But being honest, if you are building your authority and trying to do the best, your content probably, will thrive. So that's the way how I would see the content in the future.
Makes sense. And I agree, right? Because you can still write good content with the help of AI,
Yes.
right? As long as it is yours with your tone of voice, your ideas, etc. I remember you mentioned that a significant portion of your business is dealing with agencies. And I come from an agency, so this should be interesting. What are the biggest mistakes you see agencies making when it comes to landing pages, lead generation, and conversion optimization?
Okay, so it will be somehow connect to my previous answer. So that is related to this enterprise class customers. So in agencies, and I know this from my experience, many times we are doing what customers are asking for, and not all things we are doing are strategically proper, and maybe it's not some bigger vision behind this. And from this perspective, I'm saying as agencies are doing too much one-time work that is not a part of the workflow. So the agencies are not building workflows for the customers. And I'm saying this on because as a Lendingy, we also work with the agencies for different marketing services we need to provide as a company. And I'm saying this with the agencies I'm working with is we have small agencies that would like to work with bigger customers or are so thinking to keep this customer or to get this customer that they are doing what you want. On the other hand, we have the bigger or big agencies where you are one of hundreds of customers and they could spend only 10 hours because that's how you contract them. And with these 10 hours, also some kind of part of work need to happen. And overall, no one is thinking in a holistic way of your business, of your needs. And overall, it ends with one time service or the service that is not providing the value to the customer. So as an agency, I would be currently focused on building workflows and maintaining those workflows for the customer instead of trying to, just sell something to the customer. Because in many times doing the one time work with the customer, you probably put 80% of the effort to understand the business, to build the trust, to sell something. And so there's a lot of work that you already did. And then there is no idea how to monetize this investment, this beginning investment for future actions with those customers. So try to think about the customer more broad, try to convince them to maybe step by step, but building a workflow that you can extend, that you need to maintain to need to understand what's going on. And with that you can be more successful and you will be probably also have more a stable revenue stream, because also the
Yeah.
customer once understand you are building for them workflows, they're gonna stay with you because they understand the reason why you need to work for a longer period of time. And also as the agency, you have more chance to bring the value, because even if my experience is that we sometimes building just one time lead generation campaign, we were completely unsuccessful. We just didn't match the expectations. We make a wrong assumptions. The leads were too expensive, or there was not enough traffic, or the audience were just not right defined. So you can do the mistakes, but overall, if you think, if you treat your customer as a partner and you said, okay, this first time, but it wasn't successful, but we spent so much time together. We just know each other. We have a trust, and it's an investment on the both sides, and we just need to maintain. But again, this work should be behind the workflow. And overall, AI is going to be the way how the agencies are changing the way of providing services. And overall, I'm seeing that everything is moving to workflows. So try to build workflows for your customers.
It's funny because that leads right into my next question, which is looking ahead 2 to
Okay.
3 years, all right?
Yeah.
What does the marketing technology stack look like? Hold on. Will marketers and business owners, I think this applies to all of us, will still be logged into dozens of tools, or are we moving into a more agent-driven workflow, which is what you were just talking about? What do you think?
We're definitely going to the agent world. So it's
I
something I
agree.
also mentioned before. So we'll be sitting in our cloud or chat GPT, and the future is in the agentic approach in workflows. But now we are overhyped in thinking that everything will happen magically in the
Magic.
background. But we will see over time, we'll see more and more people in AI. So there will need to be people behind those workflows and that understand what's going on there, that just, take responsibility for what's there. And maybe you still will have the same amount of tools, but there will be
Yeah,
one interface you will be using to talk with all of them. It will be super easy to implement a new solution because you will just connect the next MCP server to your agent, and that will be the whole work you need to do. Then it will be just a chat experience and not anything more. But maybe the number of tools will stay the same or similar, or maybe the context of the tools will gonna change, but probably the number of tools not necessarily will decrease or maybe even increase, but the interface will be your agent.
very good. All right. Last but not least, to leave, our audience with one piece of advice to business owners who want to generate more leads with their online presence today, but feel overwhelmed by AI in all of the available tools that you can find. What would be the advice?
Huh. So the advice will be just make a step back. So I think currently everyone is overwhelmed by what's going on around and what kind of tool is better. We need to, it's is the same truth like, many years ago, everyone was saying you need to have a CRM. The CRM is good once you use it and you provide the correct data in the CRM. In the same ways, overall, the revolution we are seeing is only the way how we use the tools and what is the power behind the tool. But overall, the marketing will not going to change too much. I mean, people still will be looking for solving their problems, or you will need to build a demand for your product or the service. So I would ask my question, make a step back and just think what I will be doing if there will be no AI hype now and it will be like, 5 or 10 years ago. What kind of tactic of marketing I will be used to acquiring customers. Of course, we are seeing a significant change with the zero-click searches in Google and in other. So that's a huge change. But we just need to live in this new reality. But overall, customers will still looking for the solutions. And I would do some kind of step back, think about the first what I would like to offer to my customers, how I will do this 5 years ago, or what kind of, or even there was a great presentation I was a couple of years ago in Vienna by Andrew Chen, and he was describing that marketing overall didn't change over 100 years, and he provided a great example of content marketing that is. So the first content marketing was it was a just let me think about it is the tire producer. I think it was Michelin. So Michelin produced the tires and would like to find a way to move people to use the cars to travel. So they built a Michelin guide and restaurants to visit. So people use cars and use the tires. So we have people building content even 100 years ago to use the product, and it will gonna be the same probably 50 years in the future. But one thing but once you make the step back and understand what kind of product or the way how you would like uh, to provide it to the customer, I would focus my thinking on evergreen things. So not try to think what I can do for my customers this month, but what will work for my customers all the time. In the same as I think that the Michelin guide is a good example because it still exists. And
Yeah.
for example, many companies are providing reports each year. They are launching a report about something where they are experts. So maybe you are an expert in some niche, and you can
Hmm.
provide, build a report where you could build a hype around this report each year. In each year, you are doing the same way, being more and more, that is more and more mastered by you, and you are getting more and more audience on this. And try to build evergreen things, because if you are limited with the budget and limited with the time, there is no sense to focus on the promotion for the next week to the newsletter. It's not gonna provide you any value, and there's too much risk of your time and money to spend on a one-time promotion, one-time deal. Try to think long term. Try to think about the evergreen, and think that the marketing and the customer and we are the same people all the time. So the only way are the interface is changing, the channels are changing, but the needs and the problems are still the same to solve. So that's my advice.
Very good. Well, Blaise, thank you so much for coming out and being a guest
Thank
in our show. Thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of our podcast. We hope to see you again in the near future, Blaise. But thank you.
thank you very much. It was great to be here.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye bye.